Go ahead.
All right, I'm Matt Cunell. We're here at Kerwin's Game Store in Catskill, New York, and there was just this super tournament where the prize was 2 boxes. This is half of it. I traded one of them for a big eye, and there was 60 players, 6 rounds of Swiss, and then top 8. And I won the tournament with Elemental Dragons and played an Elemental Dragon mirror match in the last match, which was crazy. And you guys should check it out on YouTube. It apparently is going up there. And here's
Obviously.
the deck.
We'll probably link
I'll explain a lot of stuff. So there's 3 Valors.
Can you flip it upside down?
Because Valor's amazing. You should run 3 Valors and E-Dragons for synchroing for 8, and for, like, you know, stopping. I only ever summon Big Eye, which is like a big play in the deck, if I can back it up with a Valor or some kind of effect negation, because I don't want them to Big Eye my Big Eye. 3 Max C. For the mirror match, it's always really good. It's always live. It's really good game 1 against Evil Swarm. If they open really sacky and go like grab it, at least you can hope to draw outs to it. And it's an Earth for Redox, whose effect to discard and special summon a guy from the graveyard is actually very useful. It's really good. I would side it out sometimes. I sided it out against Evil Swarm once. I don't know why I did that either. But 3 Redox, obviously, big dragon. You can discard an Earth monster, special summon any monster from your graveyard. And then he's just, you know, he does all the things that the other dragons do. I hope you guys know what these do, because everyone should know what they do. Blaster, destroy stuff, big dragon. Tempest, searches things. Actually, these guys actually deserve like a conversation on their own. Tidal and Tempest. A lot of the things that people don't know about these 2 monsters is that if you open with like 2 Tempests and like access to one other attribute, or you're missing access to one of your other attributes, like you open with 2 waters, an earth, and a fire, but you don't have access to wind, your first turn play should be to activate Tidal's effect, to discard Tidal, and then dump the attribute you're missing to the graveyard, the big dragon form, because anything in your graveyard is basically in your hand. So these 2 actually basically have the same effect, because if you open with 2 winds and you're missing one of your attributes, you should use his effect to get the other attribute. So that's something that I did a lot. I actually didn't do it in my final match, though, so... I made Yugioh, though. That was pretty cool. I never summoned that guy. Alright, so those are the big dragons. Yeah, I summoned Yugioh. But I never used their searching effects. But I did summon Yugioh, which... That's like the first time I've ever done it. 2 Reactants. He's actually pretty good. I used him to kill a Thunderbird today. And I used him to game somebody. Because I didn't have enough damage on board. And I summoned him, and I crashed Dang's Kaiku with him like a huge dickhead once. Yes. 2 Burner. You know, he's good. He's fire. He's a baby. 2 other baby. Just run 2 of all the babies. That's what we do. Alright, and then 1 Flamvell Guard. The reason I ran Flamvell Guard to begin with was because I wanted more fire monsters in my deck, because it's really amazing how much you'll be sitting on, like, Blaster, and then you'll top deck into a fire monster like Guard or whatever. And also because level 8 Synchro is a big thing, and it's a searchable tuner. You can get to your hand off Gold Sark, and then get this later and just be really stupid and +1. I added that in last night as a last-minute decision because I thought I might play against E-Dragons. I wanted to have another tuner so I could get into Crimson Blader easier. So I put him in, because he's also searchable. And if you open with these 2, you can get access to other attributes easier. So, 2 tuners. 3 Super Rejuves, it's stupid.
Yes.
Yeah, it's stupid. Just go away, Super Rejuve.
Yes.
3 Gold Sarks, it's also very stupid.
No, but yes.
It's pretty stupid.
Not much as...
Once I have all of my attributes going, and my graveyard, well, my second hand is like going crazy, I'll always, most of the time, just Gold Sark for heavy, unless I'm playing in a mirror match, and then I'll Gold Sark for like Dark Hole, so that I know that I can put them on a clock, or that they're not going to overextend. But I Gold Sarked for heavy so much this tournament, everyone's like, do you do that often? And I was like, more than you'd think. Book won me the match, kind of, against E-Dragons in the top, because he went to attack my guy with Crimson Blader and I had 2 back rows, and he thought that the only thing I had set would be a breakthrough skill, but it was actually a book, and then I ended up taking his guy and then attacking over his other guy and blocking him out of plays, which is great, because Crimson Blader just says you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh for a turn. Dark Hole and Heavy Storm, card Destruction, that's like the trinity of this deck. I don't run Monster Reborn because that card's way too fair. This deck doesn't need Monster Reborn. This deck thinks Monster Reborn's silly and makes no sense, because all of these dragons, if they're in the graveyard, they can +1 to summon from the graveyard. They can even +3 to summon from the graveyard by removing the big ones, getting the babies to your hand. So why would you need Monster Reborn? The card is... It doesn't do anything for you. His phone died. Chalice is really good for hitting like Lad, which people like to play for some reason. Or hitting like, it's really funny if like your opponent sides into Vanity's Fiend and you Chalice it and then you summon Big Eye and you take Vanity's Fiend. Because every deck that uses Vanity's Fiend for some reason, any deck that can side into it, dies to it. And it's hilarious. Breakthrough Skill also for chaining to Lad and stuff and taking them and punishing your opponent for playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
So that's the main deck. I think it's got 27 monsters, maybe? That would make no sense.
No,
it should be an even. It's 28 monsters.
3, 6, 9, 11.
It's a 41 card deck.
Oh, so it's like
Because I couldn't, like last night when I was trying to fit Corseska in, because I was like, damn, I want to fucking Crimson Blade the shit out of people. When I wanted to put Corseska in, because I really just wanted him in the deck, I was like, I'll take out Card Destruction. And I was like, Card Destruction's broken. I'll just put in Corseska. So I ran at 41.
So it's
We'll go to my extra deck, which doesn't really matter. Everything's just pretty stable. 2 tokens. 3 Dracosic. The Ferrari. The Bugatti.
the Lamborghini.
No, then we got the Lambo. Big Eye. I didn't run 3 of them before today, and I ended up getting the extra ones. And I summoned 3 of these in the final match, and I summoned 3 of these against, I think it was like Hunters. I don't even know why. But I summoned 2 of him in my final match and 3 of this, so I have to, like, I'm sorry for everyone out there on YouTube. You should run 3 of each of them, as horrible as that is. Like, I know that that's a daunting fact, but one guy, I summoned him once, and he forced my opponent to go Scrap Dragon, which then I was able to summon Scrap Dragon, summon Tidal, hit me for 26. On the following turn, I made Crimson Blader and just put him on this horrible, like, spiral of losing, because he was forced to waste stuff to get rid of Gaios. Gaia Dragon, I pierced someone for game with him, because he had a set Fossil Dyna, and he was at 1200, and I attacked his Fossil Dyna, and he flipped it up really dramatically, and then he died. 2 Crimson Blader, which is also a last-minute decision. Who is the best card in Yu-Gi-Oh? The best card ever made. He'll win you everything. He'll win you boxes. He was on the field in the final match. He was there. He watched my opponent lose. Actually, it was my opponent's Crimson Blader, though, so it was kind of a dick. But he won me game 1 because I summoned 1, and I killed his monster, and he started stalling, and they finally killed it, and I was like, alright, I'll banish my Tempest to search out Corseska, and he's like, alright, that's fine. He's sitting on like a Tidal or something at that point. And then I summoned my Redox, and I summoned my Tuner, and he probably didn't know where things were going at that point, but then I summoned the second Crimson Blader, and he was like, you're kidding me. So we're on 2 of that. Red Dragon Archfiend, he's a dragon. And he's big, and he looks cool. Scrap Dragon, he's like this card's best friend a lot of the time. Armory Arm, never used it. But don't forget it exists. It's a good card. And Black Rose won me the tournament. I don't really want to go into huge detail about that because it's a big spiel of god cards and nightmarish Veilers hitting the field, like Veilers, like 2 Veilers being used, and Gaios showed up, and Obelisk was there, and Black Rose just like hit the field later and just destroyed everything, and then I was able to win it. And then Ancient Sacred Wyvern, who really makes people angry. I made so many people angry. Like, I was playing against my friend Ken, and I attacked him with a bunch of stuff, and then I ended my turn with Ancient Sacred Wyvern, and he asked me, he's like, what's the sequence? I was like, 7,600. Just 7,600. It OTKs people. Like, the deck should have some way to OTK, because when you play against, like, Dragoonities and Mermails and stuff, you want to have something to be able to actually get on the speed of your opponent. So I would run this no matter what, always. You summon with Veiler, by the way, in case nobody realized that. Summon with Veiler and tokens on your Dracosic. Now for the final things. The side deck, Grand Mole, who's the best card ever.
I took 2 boxes.
Ruins Ophion. Tsukuyomi actually put in a lot of work too against Ophion. The only thing I lost to all day was Evil Swarm. And the main reason I lost Evil Swarm is because I used Tsukuyomi to kill one of his Ophions, and they ended up summoning 2 on like the following turn, and that just shut me out. But then I played Evil Swarm in top 8, and I didn't draw into Tsukuyomi, but I draw into Grand Mole, and Grand Mole was just nightmarish. Eventually he killed Grand Mole, and I just brought it back with Redox, and that was just like the end. 2 Swift Scarecrows, which also put in a ton of work in the mirror match. Just awesome. They're so good. I sided him against Dragoonity in the mirror match, and I'd side him against Mermail. Obelisk, who I sided in the mirror match. And I summoned Obelisk, and I was like, I'm on Obelisk. I'm fucking awesome. And then he summoned Obelisk, and then he used Obelisk's effect to blow up my Obelisk. And then I summoned Obelisk to crash with his Obelisk, and I ended up losing that game, but it was really ridiculous. He's really good, though. I'd use him. Kaiku, these are the sides that I wish just didn't exist. I didn't play against Prophecy once all day, but these are my Prophecy sides, right here. Because you can't fade him. He's really good. And you could side him against a mirror if your mirror side sucks. The only thing I sided in against the mirror was actually these, like, as weird as it is. And I only sided in one of the obelisks at the end of the day because I drew 2 in game 2, and I was like, damn, that sucks. I drew this in because I knew he ran obelisk and stuff like Vanity's Fiend and stuff. So Granmole had to go in, and he's also, like, my best friend. I love him.
Is this the reason why you ran,
Red Dragon, yeah. Because I could run, like, Thought Ruler or, Gigantic Fighter or whatever his name is. Colossal Fighter. But they're not dragons.
Right.
So it doesn't have as much synergy. And also, Red Dragon Archfiend can, like, clutch in weird situations. Like, when your opponent is for some reason sitting on, like, 2 defense position monsters, you can just +1 off of them. And he's got a huge attack. 3,000's really big right now. And then finally, just 3 MSDs. So basically, these are the sides I worked with all day. And Granmole saw the most work. MST saw a lot of work, too. Because this deck's broken. Because your opponent, like, flips up Imperial Iron Wall or something, and they're like, yeah, I'm in, like, pole position now. And you're like, I'll blow that up with something else. And then I'll save MST for later. Or I'll just save MST to blow up your cards that you really want. But yeah, that's the deck. 2 Crimson Bladers. Just remember that. Everybody should run 2 Crimson Bladers. And I guess if you don't play against Prophecy, you just have to worry about the mirror match.
What was your hardest matchup today?
The mirror match.
The mirror match.
It was ridiculous.
What was your easiest?
That's... Really, Chris? Really, Chris? I played against a child in round 1, okay? I played against a child.
What deck was
Are you happy?
using?
Competitively, what was your easiest?
Competitively, like, something that was actually good that I, like, just raffle stomped.
What do you like seeing?
What do I like playing against? Mermails. Hey, dang.
Hey, I beat you. I want that dollar from you.
I like
okay?
playing against Mermails. I gave you the dollar already.
I know, I'm just saying, I want that dollar from you. But
I like
beating
playing
you.
against Mermails, and I like playing against... I guess, like, if you were to consider, like, Mermails, Evil Swarm, E-Dragons, and Prophecy the only, like, really huge top decks, I would say Mermails, because it's a headache playing against all those other decks, I won't lie. I won't lie at all. But I like playing against Evil Swarm, because it can turn out to be a really fun game when the sides start coming in.
So what deck do you lost today? It's with
Just Evil Swarm.
Why?
He Ophion too much, I already told you. I had Tsukuyomi, but it was my only out to Ophion, and I ended up getting around 1 Ophion, but then he just summoned 2 more of them. And I top deck into Blaster, and I had a Heavy Storm, and if he didn't have the second Ophion, I would have just completely annihilated him at that point, but he had 2 Ophions.
Any changes you'd make to the deck?
Yes.
Like if,
I wouldn't side for Prophecy, apparently. No, I would probably keep this deck the way it is completely.
So,
It is so good.
so even though if you do go to Nationals, will you make any new change to it?
I'll probably take out Obelisk, because he's really, really good in the mirror, but everyone's caught on to the fact that he exists. And, like, it becomes... Because one of the reasons why my deck, I think, did well in top 8 was because I didn't side out... in the final matches, because I didn't side out any of these, and I actually sided out my Veilers, because I knew... I kept all these in, and I think I took all of his out, but it's because I knew that he was running Obelisk and Vanity's Fiend, and I knew that a lot of his game plan was going to be to try and lock me out of my plays. So I was holding on to my tuners and stuff until I could make Black Rose and trying to bait out all of his outs and stuff. And I was saving these all game until I had control of the game so that he would try and summon something really weird and I could just negate it.
Will you use one and stuff too?
No, I would just
Or
not
just-
use him. I would just... I think it's come to the point where E-Dragons have to find a new card that's like a trump card in the mirror match.
Like
What would you
Christia?
put in?
Christie's okay, but it's these. Christie
like-
just like... I don't know what I would put in because like I
Angel
don't
Seven?
like Electric Virus, and I don't like Christia that much, and
And
I don't
like
like
Lad?
Angel
I hate Lad. I've stolen so many people's Lads with these cards. I've taken so many Lads as my own. I don't know. Like I actually like this in the mirror match. I do, so I might continue to side him in the mirror match. Obelisk I like, but he's risky. Angel 07 sucks completely. The card just is terrible. I guess Christie would be a pretty good idea. I don't know.
He can get killed easily.
It's hard to say right now. It's really hard to say where this
I would
deck's
just
going.
keep Obelisk.
But Christia is recurring. That's the reason why, like, this is good. This is good. Like, normally you're like, oh, Christia returns at the top of my deck. This sucks ass. But if your deck's based around tribute summoning Christia, that's actually really good. And, like, the only problem that I have with Christia is if they steal him.
Yes.
But, like, the reason these are so good against Evil Storm is you summon this, and you book Ophion, you deal with Ophion, and as long as they don't summon two, like that guy did against me, you'll always have an out to Ophion. Because this comes back to your hand. This comes back to your hand. Like, recurring cards are really powerful right now. So Christia could be really good. It would just take some testing.
Anything you wish you didn't take out or you wish you would put in?
No, I took out 7 Star Sword last week, and that card sucks ass. So, that card's terrible. Don't run it. Please don't run it. Because, like, why would you want to banish one of these beautiful men? Like, one of these shining, majestic creatures. Why would you want to banish one of them and never see them again just to get a +1? This deck +1's, like, by sneezing. You don't need 7 Star Sword. That card makes no sense. Unless you're in Return from the Different Dimension, which I might put that in now that I have the extra deck completely out there. Because that's like an over-the-top card. In the mirror match, over-the-top can be a big deal.
But you decide that you remake that.
I think I'd side it because if your opponent sees it, game 1, they're going to keep their MSTs in because they don't want to get hit with a Return from the Different Dimension for Mega Game.
So, what deck will you side against? Mirror match?
Well, what would I side? Definitely the Mirage. Probably just the Mirage.
That's it?
Yep. That's actually a really good card in the Mirage in the side. Because, like, nobody's destroying back rows in the Mirage. So, that's something I might actually put in the side deck, is Return from the Different Dimension.
But you don't really use it at your local, because there's not a lot of E-Dragon players there that have, like, 3 Chukazek and 3 big eyes. So,
I know, I'm kind of a dick.
But it would be great at Nationals, but not...
It will. I think Return from the Different Dimension might go in the deck. I think I like that. I like where that's going.
Alright. Anything else? Last comment or whatever?
I love Grand Mole and Crimson Blader.
Alright.
I love them.
Alright, signing out.